Paano ba mas madaling maintindihan ang krimen ng estafa? Hello future abogados and legal learners! Welcome to Ask Attorney G, a series where I answer real questions sent in by law students, bar takers, and curious minds like you. Law school and bar review are tough enough. This series is here to make that journey a little easier, one question at a time. Ano, G? Today is all about the crime of estafa or swindling under Article 315 of the Revised Penal Code. Just remember the two elements. Number 1, deceit or fraud o panloloko. Number 2, damage or danyos. Let's discuss the second element first. Ano ang element of damage sa krimen ng estafa? Damage is the loss suffered by the victim. Ito yung pera na nawala sa biktima dahil sa panloloko ng offender. Hindi man pera, pwedeng goods or property ang nawala. Tandaan lang, dapat may monetary value or capable of pecuniary estimation yung bagay. Damage ang basehan ng penalty na i-impose sa offender upon conviction of estafa. Example, kung ang nawala ay pera o bagay na nagkakahalaga ng over 2.4 million up to 4.4 million, ang penalty ay imprisonment of prison correctional maximum to prison mayor minimum. Ano naman ang element of deceit o fraud? Ito yung panlolokong ginawa ng offender para makuha ang tiwala ng biktima na naging paraan para makuha niya ang pera o property nito. Article 315 of the Revised Penal Code punishes 3 kinds of fraud. Number 1, abuse of confidence. Number 2, false pretenses. And number 3, fraudulent means. There are also various means of committing estafa under each of these 3 kinds. Una, under estafa with abuse of confidence, it may be committed by number 1, altering the substance, quantity, or quality of goods. Number 2, by misappropriation or conversion of entrusted money, goods, or property. Number 3, taking advantage of blank signature. Pangalawa, under estafa by false pretenses, it can be committed by first, using fictitious name or falsely pretending to be of power. Second, altering the quality of his art or business goods. Number 3, pretending to bribe a government employee. And number 4, post-dating a check without sufficient funds. Pangatlo, estafa through fraudulent means may be committed by first, inducing another to sign a document. Second, cheating in a gambling game. And third, destruction or concealment of official records. Out of all these, dalawa ang usual subject of cases or even bar exam questions. Number 1, estafa with abuse of confidence by misappropriation or conversion of entrusted goods, money, or property. And number 2, estafa by false pretenses by post-dating a check without sufficient funds. So let's focus on these 2. Una, estafa with abuse of confidence committed by misappropriation. Ano ang elements of this mode of committing estafa? Number 1, the victim entrusted money or property to the offender. Dito nakareceive ng pera or property si offender galing kay victim with the understanding that he shall hold it in trust o para pangalagaan, i-secure, or i-administer yung money or property na yun. Pwede ding nakuha ni offender ang pera or property on commission, meaning may kasunduan na ibebenta ni offender ang goods na nakuha from the victim, pero ibabalik niya ang proceeds, and in turn, he will earn a commission or percentage of the sale. Or any other arrangement requiring the offender na ibalik sa biktima yung na-receive niya na pera or property or yung proceeds nito. In other words, yung pagbibigay ng biktima ng pera or property to the offender is not out of generosity. Hindi siya donation. It's coupled with the obligation to return that money or property or its proceeds. Second element, the offender misappropriates, converts, or denies the receipt of the money or property. So 1. Misappropriation, meaning inangkin ng offender yung pera or property na pinagkatiwala sa kanya. Number 2. Conversion. Pwedeng ginamit ito for other purpose na hindi naman pinagkasunduan or ginamit for offender's personal benefit. Number 3. Denial of receipt. Dito, itinatanggi ng offender na may natanggap siya na pera or property galing sa victim. And the third element, as a result, the victim suffered loss or damage equivalent to the value of the money or property. So let's recap. Here are the 3 elements of estafa with abuse of confidence committed by misappropriation. Number 1, the victim entrusted money or property to the offender. Number 2, the offender misappropriates, converts, or denies the receipt of the money or property. And number 3, as a result, the victim suffered loss or damage equivalent to the value of the money or property. Here are some points to remember. Una, there must be a transfer of both material and juridical possession of the money or property from the victim to the offender. This means that the offender also acquires a right over the money or property entrusted to him. For example, binigyan ni Ana si James ng 10 relo para ibenta on commission. Dito, na-transfer yung material possession ng relo kay James since na-receive niya yung watches physically. The juridical possession of the watches is also transferred to James. As an agent, meron siyang legal control over the watches. He is not a mere caretaker or courier. Pero kung ibinigay ni Ana ang relo kay James para dalhin sa repair shop, only material possession is transferred. Kumbaga, James acquires no other right with respect to the watches. Kung i-misappropriate man niya ito, ang crime na makocommit niya ay theft or qualified theft but not estafa. Another example, the money that you deposit in the bank and received by the bank teller. There is transfer of material possession only, but not juridical possession. So if ever i-misappropriate ng bank teller yung pera, he will be guilty of theft or qualified theft, but again, not estafa. Second, misappropriation is presumed if una, di maibalik ni offender ang pera or property or yung proceeds. Pangalawa, hindi niya ma-account kung nasa na ang mga ito. Third, is demand an element of this offense? Hindi. But it can be considered as circumstantial evidence of misappropriation. If the misappropriation is proved in some other way, then demand is no longer required. And last, what is the effect of return or reimbursement of the money or property. Wala. Return or reimbursement does not negate criminal liability. The second common kind is estafa by false pretenses committed by post-dating a check without sufficient funds. So what are the elements of this offense? Number 1, the offender issues a post-dated check. Number 2, the offender has no sufficient funds in the bank to cover the amount of the check. And number 3, an obligation was incurred simultaneously with the issuance of the check. This is the crime na madalas nakukonfuse with the violation of BP 22 or the bouncing checks law. What distinguishes them is that for this mode of committing estafa, dapat yung pag-i-issue ng check by the offender was the cause kung bakit binigyan siya ng victim ng pera or property. In other words, deceit is committed by issuing the post-dated check. The check was issued to induce the victim to give the offender money or property. The revised penal code establishes a presumption of deceit if the offender fails to fund the check within 3 days from the receipt of notice of dishonor. Another distinction is that in this mode of committing estafa, the issuance of the post-dated check is not for the payment of a pre-existing obligation. For example, bumili si Jake ng second-hand cellphone from May. Wala siyang cash kaya nag-issue siya ng post-dated check dated next week. At dahil nag-issue siya ng check, pumayag na si May na ibigay sa kanya ang phone. Pero nung dineposit ni May yung check, account closed na daw. Here, guilty si Jake of estafa. 1. There's deceit. Jake gave May a bad check to induce her to give him the phone. Second, Jake's obligation to pay was made at the same time as the issuance of the check. And third, the check has no sufficient funds. Pero for example, nung binili ni Jake kay May yung phone, ang agreement nila, magbabayad si Jake pagdating ng sweldo next week. Pero binigay na ni May sa kanya yung phone. Next week came at wala daw cash si Jake. Kaya nag-issue muna siya ng post-dated check. Nung dineposit yung check, tumalbog. Here, Jake may be liable for violation of BP 22 but not estafa, since the check was issued in payment of a pre-existing obligation. Got more questions? Drop them in the comments, baka yan na ang next topic natin. Like, follow, and subscribe if you want more law made simple. Tuloy lang ang tanong. I'm here to answer. G.